Flosstube. Thanks for stopping by my channel. My name is Shiloh and I'm a cross stitcher, knitter, and crocheter living in Nova Scotia, Canada. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as @Xstitchmd, and I'll have a link down below to a Google document that has description of all the projects that I'm working on because I'm hoping to inspire you because I seem to do this every time I have a whole bunch of new starts again. That being said, I do also have 2 cross stitch finishes and 1 knitting finish, lots of progress on my whips, and a bunch of haul because why not? So first of all, let's go through the giveaway from last video. So I was giving away one of the beautiful bags that Candace from I Can Sew Make That had kindly offered. And the winner of that is Quiltma Sue Gooden or Godden. I'm not sure how to say it, but Sue, congratulations, you're the winner. If you could send me an email, my email address is listed down below, but if you could send me an email with your mailing address and just confirm which of the 2 bags you preferred, I will get that in the mail to you. So congrats, Sue. So since my last video, I think it's been 3 weeks or so, and the main exciting thing that happened during that time is that Sam turned 2. So crazy that it has already been 2 years and he's like becoming an adult dog. For his birthday, he had the special treat of getting to go to the vet dentist and getting a root canal done. So that was fun. Spencer had booked this appointment because Sam had cracked a tooth a couple of weeks ago. We think he was chewing on a rock and outside and had cracked his tooth. So our local vet only does extractions, and it was one of Sam's like big front teeth, which we didn't really want to have to take that out. So they referred us to this vet dentist in Moncton, New Brunswick, which is like a 3-hour drive. And I know this is like a lot of extra information, but it's important. It's been what's been going on. And Spencer thought it'd be a great idea to book it on Sam's birthday. He didn't realize it was Sam's birthday when he booked it. So anyway, Spencer also happened to be out of town for work that week, so I got to take Sam to Moncton by myself and get him his root canal. It all went fine. His tooth is fixed and beautiful and not cracked anymore, so that's great. And he got lots of treats afterwards and some new balls and all the toys and fun playing at the park. So he is well taken care of, but that was a very expensive birthday present. So you're welcome, Sam. So that happened, and otherwise it's just been the normal work and all the stitching and crafting outside of work because it's the best. So yeah, that's what's been going on lately here. Let's get started because I have some finishes. So I had been working on Eddie and Patsy by Maximum Cross Stitch, and in my last video I was very close to finishing it, and it is now done. So here it is. I'm so happy with how this turned out. This is Eddie and Patsy by Maximum Cross Stitch, stitched with all the called for Roxy Floss Co. flosses on 32 count Roxy Floss Co. catnap linen, which I love. It's this beautiful mottled gray and the colors just look amazing on it. So this was my hashtag Octobered piece. So I stitched on this pretty much every day in October and I got it done. So yay, I'm really excited to take this to get framed. I decided to try out another Michaels that is closer to me. That is, well, like in my area, there's like 3 Michaels, and I've been going to this one particular Michaels, and I felt like their quality and framing had really gone down. So someone on one of my last videos had recommended a different location. So I brought a couple pieces there last week to get framed, and I was going to bring this one, but I wanted to show it in my video before I brought it to get framed. So I did bring my September's Revenge, which was the Maximum Cross Stitch piece I stitched in September. So I dropped that off to get framed, and I'll put in a picture here of the frame I chose for it, which I'm really excited about. And I also brought my Birdie sampler, B-E-R-T-I, by Stitchy Box, and the Toccata, I think it was Toccata number 1 by Drawn Thread. Also brought those there, so we'll see how it goes, and if it goes well at that Michaels, then I will bring in some more. But yeah, I'm really, really excited with this finish. It's so pretty. I just love the colors. And yeah, This is the piece that has kind of fueled my bird obsession. So after I finished that, I was like, well, what am I going to do next? And the answer is finish another bird piece. So this is Mary Amelia's bird, and I finished it. So I love this one. I left off the words at the bottom where I think it said like a Mary Amelia's bird or just Mary Amelia at the bottom, but I left that off. And this is stitched with a Roxy Floss Co. conversion that Ellen from Maximum Cross Stitch had done up. I did change a couple of the colors just to show it better on my fabric, and I love how this turned out. I used 36 count XJU design rustic drab linen, and I just love how it looks. 2 strands, and it's so pretty. It's so pretty. So this was a finish for #November because we're just doing all birds in November. So I'm excited to get this one framed. It's so pretty. Let's continue with the bird obsession, shall we? Because I had another start, and it's actually pretty close to a finish because this is a tiny one. So this is Mary Barton's work, which not to be confused with Mary Amelia's bird because that's confusing. And this is by Moho Stitches. And here is where I'm at. I'm at 66% complete, which is exciting. I'm leaving off the words at the bottom again. And I did my own Roxy Floss Co. conversion for this, which I'm very proud of myself for doing. It was extremely stressful, but I did it. I figured it wasn't too big of a piece. I could kind of play around with the colors. I had to change a couple, but I'm really happy with the conversion that I came up with. And I'll post a link to a Google Doc below that has my conversion in it in case you want to do it too, because that would make me really excited. And yeah, I'm almost done it. I just need to do some flowers and greenery over here. Like I said, I think it's about 2/3 complete. And yeah, beautiful. Love it. So Roxy Floss Co. conversion, I'm stitching on 36 count Winter Brew linen by R&R, 2 strands over 2. So the November obsession continues. Spencer loves the big full coverage pieces, but he doesn't quite understand samplers, and I'm trying to explain them to him, but I feel like it's really hard for non-stitchers to understand. Anyway, he does like the bird pieces, so that I got to buy in there. All right, what else have I been working on? I had a couple other new starts. Actually, I feel like all of my other pieces I have to show are new starts. But this one here I have is a piece that I have been working on the past 2 months. So I got some extra progress. So this is Chircha and Gircha, autographed by the man himself, Jacob of Modern Folk Embroidery. And this was a piece available at the Jacobpalooza retreat I attended last month. I don't think it's available yet, but I think it's supposed to be coming out sometime this month. So hopefully that is the case. And I got some extra progress done on this. So I'm stitching this on the called for linen, which is 46 count Roxy Floss Co. Speculas linen, using all the called for Roxy Floss Co. colors. And this is being stitched with 1 strand over 2. Look at those letters. Okay, so I'm being stalled for progress on this one because these letters take so long to do. All this back stitch takes forever. I love how it looks, like love, love, love it, but it takes forever. So that's kind of stalling me because I kind of want it to work like all the way down to the page. And I think this first page here goes down to, let me check. Okay, so the first page goes down to this, down to here. So this is what's stalling me, is doing this next row of letters. So I will get it. I will do it because I love this piece. But that is what's holding me up. But look how pretty it is. Love it. Love it, love it. If you check out Whitney from Catskills Needle Arts on Instagram, she has a lot of progress on this and it looks amazing. Eee. Okay, that being said, I am currently having a total obsession with 46 count. So this is on 46 count, and since then I've started 2 more pieces on 46 count and had to buy a bunch because I love it. I just love how like teensy tiny and delicate the letters look, and it's just so pretty. So what else have I started? I decided I wanted to join in for hashtag Black Sampler November, which was started by Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery, to, in the month of November, stitch on a sampler that is all black. So I think I did it last year. Did I? Maybe I didn't. I can't remember. But I decided I wanted to do it this year. So I started the sampler that Jacob had designed, MBell 1856, which is a reproduction sampler. And I think Jacob did the motifs on the right side, and then the left side is a reproduction from the original antique. So I started it on 46 count because I am loving it. Let me just try to show this so it's not quite so awkward. I'm trying to show it with like a paper behind so that it doesn't blow through, but let's just see if I can hold this well. Okay, that's pretty good. So I started this on 46 count chromium linen hand dyed by Rolanda, who has an Etsy shop. She's Canadian fabric and floss dyer. And I am using Roxy Floss Co. in Vampish, which is this really, really dark purple that looks black. So I have quite a bit done on this. I'm almost done this part, which is the left side of the sampler. I did change it to be my initials and last name and the current year. Sorry, MBell, but I want my name on it because I stitched it, not you. I finished pretty much the entire bottom part, and so I just have these couple of alphabets left to finish, and then I get to do all the fun motifs on the other side. I'm going to let you in on a little secret here in that when I was measuring my fabric to put this piece on, when I looked at the stitch count, Jacob has the stitch count listed for each panel, and you have to add them together. And I didn't do that. I just measured the stitch count for the one panel, but I'm stitching both panels. So my fabric is completely off center. So I will have a 5-inch border at the top, a 5-inch border at the side. I have a 3-inch border at the bottom, and then on this side I'm gonna have a 2-inch border. Yeah. Thankfully, my piece of fabric is big enough that even though I completely miscounted the borders, it's gonna fit. But I mean, this would have been fit, you know, beautifully centered if I was only stitching this part. Oh gosh, anyway, yeah. So it's still gonna fit. I had a massive moment of panic where I thought it was not gonna fit on the side, but I measured it multiple times and it's gonna go out to here. So I'll have a 2-inch border, and that's all you need, right? Yeah, I'm loving working on this. I really like this fabric. It's not showing up great here. It's more of like a purpley gray, more heavy on the gray than purple, but it's beautiful and I love it. And I'm loving stitching this piece. So that is the first of the new starts. 2 more to go. Okay, the other piece I literally just started this morning because I wanted to. I was actually going to start it last night. Last night, Spencer was out helping his dad with some kind of project. I'm very glad I didn't have to help. So I was at home and I decided I wanted a new start and I wanted to start something on 46 count. But I decided this at like 9:30 at night, and I decided maybe this is not the best time to start a new project, but I did like get all my floss and my fabric ready, and then I started it first thing this morning. So I have started Jane Hopkins by Hands Across the Sea. I love this one. I love the roses and flowers, and I also really love it because I think it'll be really easy at the bottom to change it from, instead of saying Jane Hopkins, to say my name, and to change the year to be the current year. I mean, I'm not going to finish this year, but I can change it to the current year. So that's my big thing. I've mentioned this for reproduction samplers. If I'm stitching it, I want it to say my name. Like if I'm buying an antique sampler, yeah, that's great to have the original person, but if I'm stitching it, I want my name on it. So I don't know, maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but that's how I feel. So that has stopped me from stitching a lot of reproduction samplers, but I'm like, if I find ones that I can change to do that, I'm much more into it. Although that being said, I'm just going to stitch it as is. But I think the thing with this is that it's so busy, like you don't even notice that it says specific people's names on it. Or maybe that's just me. But anyway, I digress. So I have started Jane Hopkins. I have this teensy tiny little start. I think I got in like 600 stitches on this. And the color is not showing up well that's better for the fabric color. I'm stitching this on 46 count XJU design old sheep linen. And this is just basically like a blob in the center of the flowers, right? So beautiful. You can totally tell what it is. That being said, I'm really having fun stitching this because it's basically like full coverage in the center. I'm just going to fold this so you can see it better. That's better. That's the colors there. It's basically full coverage in the center. So that's kind of fun to do. No, I haven't worked on Bewitched Park. I'll get to it eventually. I just haven't felt like working on it, okay? I know people will ask, and yes, it will get done eventually. I just haven't felt like working on it. I've wanted to work on all the samplers and all the 46 count and 18 count Ada full coverage. I just haven't felt like, so I'll get to it eventually. But yes, I'm really, really liking this. I mean, I've worked on it for like 2 hours today, but this has been really fun and I'm excited to keep going with this. I did measure and double count my fabric multiple times, so I do have it correctly oriented and the right amount. So that is exciting. I'm using called for DMC. It's been really nice just to use some plain old DMC and remind myself that, wow, stitching can be really cheap if you just use DMC. So shout out to DMC for keeping it affordable. All right, my last work in progress is also a new start, and this one I started to go with the bird theme because I'm loving birds, as we all know, and I started the scissor sampler. So I haven't even posted this on Instagram yet. I started this a couple weeks ago and just forgot to post about it, so sneak peek here. So I'm stitching the scissor sampler. This is by Tellin Emblem, and I'm using the called for fabric, which is Picture This Plus Regency. Although the called for is 28 count and I'm using 32 count, and I'm also using Lugana. So I'm using all the called for floss, which are DMC and Weeks Dye Works. Dun, dun, dun. Drum roll, please. And there's my start. Ah, how cute is this? I love this. This fabric is beautiful. I am finding it a bit tricky to stitch on. So it is Picture This Plus Lugana, and the holes are very tight. So I normally stitch with a size 24 needle on 32 count. I actually went down to 28 because the holes are so tight and I'm finding it much more enjoyable to work on. So top tip, if your fabric is tight, just use a smaller needle size. So that is the start of it. It's so cute. I am loving it. The border is super fun to stitch, and I'm going to keep going on this one. I set it aside after working on it for a couple days because I wanted to work on other things, but it's tiny. It's only 102 by 131. So I have it on a fat 8th of fabric, and yeah, it's going to be super cute. And I really, really like this fabric. It's very green and modelly and super pretty. Yay. Okay, that is all my cross stitch progress. So I worked on quite a few projects over the past few weeks, which is nice to see the progress I've made. Let's talk about knitting now. So I do have a knitting shawl finish, and it is not blocked. So, you know, it'll look much better when it's blocked, but I've been kind of lazy about blocking things lately. I don't really have a good space to block things. Like, I have this room, which is the spare room / my craft room, but there's like 0 floor space in here that's not covered by like carpet or a rug. So blocking things on that is not great, but anywhere else to block in the house Sam would get all over it. So a lot of this stuff I'm just like, I'll do it someday in the future. But that being said, so this is the shawl Thalia, or maybe it's Thalia, I'm not sure, by Andrea Mowry, and it's done. So let me hold this up closer so you can see. So we start off with this beautiful lace, chevron lace. It goes into a whole bunch of stockinette, but the stockinette is knit through the back loop. So purling that was not fun, but it looks awesome. And then this fun kind of alternating knits and purls and finish with like a bit of garter stitch. So this was really, really fun to knit, although there were a lot of miles of purling through the back loop, which I did not enjoy, but the rest of it I did enjoy. So I knit this using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Sport in the colorway Mink Heather. I think I used 7 balls, 6 or 7 balls, I can't remember. They come in 50-gram balls, and I think they're not very expensive, maybe like $4 or $5 a ball. So this was a pretty inexpensive project, which was great. And yeah, I really like it. I love this color. It's a nice neutral, it goes with everything. I do need to block it so that I can start wearing this like to work and, you know, things like that. I work in clinic Monday, Tuesdays, then I work in the emergency department Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. So Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays are my like dress casual and scrubs, wear whatever I want days. And then Monday, Tuesday are like dress up in more fancy clothes, but I'm always freezing in my office. So having a shawl like this would be great. So yeah, we'll block this soon, but it's huge and cozy and awesome. So I love it. Yay. So that was a shawl finish. So obviously a shawl finish means a new shawl cast on. So I did exactly that. So I think I talked about before how I was going to be starting this Stephen West mystery knit along, and there was a whole bunch of stuff that happened with that. The pattern kind of changed for good reason, and I was just like, I'm not feeling it anymore. So myself, Liz from Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, and Lauren, New Hampshire Stitcher, all decided we were going to do the mystery knit along, and then we decided not to because it just had like some bad vibes around it. I know it's like all gotten fixed and good now, but we just decided we're just not going to do it. So we decided to cast on a shawl together, and we decided to do the Snarkometer shawl by Casapinka. It's also a 4-color shawl, so we decided to cast that on together, and we had a little Zoom cast on party, which was super fun. And we all had our project bags that Liz made us. So thank you, Liz. I love it. And here is my progress. So I think Lauren is the furthest along of all of us because I think she's finished the first clue and maybe even the second clue. I'm almost finished the first clue. The whole pattern is released now, but it is released like in the pattern itself. It has it listed as clues, which is kind of fun. So there is my start. So this is super fun. There's a lot of purling, which has kept me from working on it more than I have, but I am really enjoying it. There's all these fun different stitches in it, which is great. Oops, my needle's poking through here. These chevrons were really fun to do. And the next part I'm supposed to start is like a slip stitch part, which is really fun. So I've used 3 of my 4 colors so far. I'm using a Sonder Yarn Company, I think it's their Muse base. So it is a linen merino base. It's beautiful. It's single ply. It's very, very soft and lovely. So I have used the 3 lighter colors so far. I haven't yet used my darkest color. So I think the next part might have that. So I will get back to working on this soon. But yeah, it's been really fun. I am using a different needle size than recommended. I'm using a US size 5, 3.75 millimeters, which is, I think the pattern calls for 3.5 or US 4. But I just wanted to go slightly bigger because my yarn is a bit thinner. So I wanted to make sure it wasn't too tight. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. Casapinka's patterns are very fun. They're written in the voice of a cat, which you have to read them to understand it, and it's amazing and hysterical. And they're also very clear, and she has a lot of great instructions, so that is very helpful. So yeah, it's very satisfying to do. So that is my shawl progress. I also have made some progress on 2 of my knit blankets that I've been working on. So let's show you those. The first one is the library blanket by Purl Soho, and I bought the kit for the yarn on Purl Soho's website when they had a sale. So I'd recommend checking them out because usually on Black Friday they'll have a sale and it makes the yarn a lot cheaper because there's a lot of it. So this pattern I've been working on for a while. I'm almost done. I'm on the last section now. And it's kind of bunched up on my needle because I ran out of the color and I have to wind the next yarn. So let me hold this up. I'm going to hold it up sideways. So I just finished this section, which is this vertical stripe. And ooh, can you see it all? Like it's huge. It's huge. and I love it. So last horizontal stripe section now. So I had these 2 stripes. I think there's maybe 4 more stripes after this current one I'm working on, so I'm so close to being done. And this is just such an awesome blanket. I have a ton of ends to weave in. Oops, I think I dropped a stitch there. I have a ton of ends to weave in because I have not been weaving them in as I go. I just wanted to do it all at the end so it'd be a bit more secure. But I love this blanket and I'm really excited to have it finished so I can use it. I'm keeping this one because I love these colors and it's been so much fun to knit. I love the yarn. So the yarn is holding 2 yarns together. So one is Pearl Soho line weight, which is a single ply merino wool. And then it's their linen quill, which is a Highland wool alpaca linen mix. And it's nice and fuzzy and fluffy. So yeah, that is my blanket, my humongous, gigantic blanket. And I love when you get to this part of a blanket because you basically get to like use the blanket while you're working on it. So that's kind of fun. So that is one blanket project. I would love to finish that by the end of the year, which is very doable. The other blanket project I'm working on that I'm also very close to a finish is my hibernation throw. So I've been kind of alternating between these 2 in the evenings while we watch TV because they're like so nice and cozy. So for the hibernation throw, this is a pattern by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. I'm knitting mine slightly differently. So this calls for it to be knit using a fingering weight yarn. I'm using fingering weight held double, so it's more of a DK gauge, and I'm using a US 8 5mm needle to knit mine. Look at my cute little stitch stoppers. These are from Full Moon Fibers, the stitch stoppers, which are super cute. So my blanket's knitting up a lot bigger. I also am using an advent calendar that I got last year from Yarn Indulgences, and it was 24 minis, kind of just a rainbow of colors, and I kind of arranged them to be somewhat of a fade. So the way the blanket works is you cast on at one end here and you increase, 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 increase until you get halfway through. And then you start decreasing. So I'm on the decrease section now. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show this again, it's huge, but like you can get some sense of the colors there. I absolutely love this. It's nice and big. It'll be a square blanket once it's done. So I'm on the decrease section working through these blues. And I think I only have 5 colors left or so. Here are some of my colors wound up here. I did a bunch of minis and just like did a magic ball with them together. So I have like some blues going into some grays. And then my other color that I'm holding with is just a plain white yarn. It's actually Leo and Roxy yarn, not quite white, which I don't know if you can really see. You can kind of see the white there. I also, oh, here you go. There it is there. I ran out and I need to start my next ball. So both of these projects are currently waiting for new balls of yarn to be wound. Yeah, I love this one as well. This may be a Christmas gift if I can part with it. But I am getting a couple of yarn advents this year, and I think one of them is a fade. It's like blues and taupes, and I think it'll be really pretty knit up in a hibernation throw. So I might do that, and then I could give this one away. To who, I haven't decided yet, but I have a couple of options, so we'll see. But yeah, this one's been so much fun. It's really easy knitting. It's garter stitch with eyelet rows every couple of rounds or every couple of rows. So it's all knitting and then a couple of knit togethers and yarn overs. And it's really, really fun. I highly recommend this, whether you knit it with fingering yarn singly or doubly, depending on the size you want. So yeah, that's my hibernation throw. Okay, the only other project I have to show is a knit blanket. I've been all about the blankets lately. It's just like the perfect time of year to be working on them, and it's so cozy. So I talked about this before. This is my giant granny square blanket I'm currently making for Spencer's cousin. And okay, let me just get on my yarn finagled here. Actually, maybe I'll show you my yarn first. So I am using a couple of different yarns for this. I'm using Cascade Heritage, and Limestone is kind of my main color that I'm using throughout the blanket. And then I'm alternating a bunch of different blues and greens. So I'm using this one right now, which I don't know who this is from, some Canadian dyer. I'm using this navy. And I'm also using Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in Oyster Heather. So that color I am holding double with this, and then I'm alternating with this. So every other round is either like this cream color, or it's the cream held with a blue or a green. Does that make sense? Basically, I'm holding the yarns double to get a DK weight, and then I'm either holding this tweed and the limestone together, or a blue or green and the limestone together. So that's where I'm at so far. It's pretty big. I'm using a US 5mm hook, an H hook, holding the yarn double and just alternating colors every round. So that's where it's at right now. I have, I think, 5 more skeins of this. So I'll just keep going until I run out of that one. I have a bunch of the Stroll Tweed, and I have a bunch of different minis and different colors to use for this. So I want it to be quite a bit bigger. But yeah, it's a decent size right now. I mean, this would be a good baby blanket size, maybe even big for a baby blanket, but I want it to be a giant, comfy, cozy blanket. So this is just the basic granny square. You just keep going, making it bigger and bigger. So yeah, I work on this every couple days. I find with crochet, I do have to look at what I'm doing versus when I'm knitting, I can knit without looking. So I tend to knit more than I crochet, because crochet, I need to like be watching something I don't really care as much about. So it's a great project to watch when I'm watching football and it's a team on that I don't care about, because Spencer and I do not cheer for the same team. So all right, that is all of my crafty progress. So let's show you some of the haul I've gotten lately. So in the mail this week, I got 2 of my yarn advents I'll be opening this year. I actually have 1 more coming in the mail from the Blue Brick, and that one is going to be a DK gradient that's going to make a giant blanket pretty similar to the hibernation throw, except it doesn't have eyelets, it's just kind of straight knitting. Haven't gotten that one yet. Very excited for it. The other 2 that I have purchased were both from Canadian yarn dyers. They're both fingering weight yarns, and I have plans for both of them, so we'll talk about it. The first one is from Smash Knit. So this is the one I was talking about that I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make a second hibernation throw with. So this is like the color palette, and it's 24 mini skeins of fade using kind of these colors. So I don't know if they still have any available on their website. They did have some smaller packs, like 12 skeins available still when I last checked on their website, so check them out. Smash Knits, Ashley and Norm, their husband and wife team, and they're in Alberta. So I got this one. I'm really excited to open this. I also got Olive Park yarns. So Denise, she also did a 24 skein, mini skein, fingering weight advent calendar, and this is like not a fade or anything, it's just like a bunch of colors. So I have a totally different plan for that one. So for the Smash Knits one, I'm going to do a second hibernation throw, and I'm not going to start it until I'm done that one. So I'm not planning on like working on these every day in December. I just kind of want to start them sometime in December, and I'm not planning on finishing them, but I'll work on them over the course of the year. Because for me, I want Advent season to be fun, about opening things and like getting excited, but not about like I have to work on something every day, because I already have committed to working on something every day. And that's the Evertote Holiday Countdown box. So I am going to be starting that December 1st. And that is a pattern that you stitch on every day with a new skein of floss. And so I am definitely doing that one every day, so I don't also have time to do a knitting one every day. Anyway, that being said, so the Smash Knits one, I'm going to do the, that's them there. The Smash Knits one, I'm going to do the hibernation throw. And I got, so currently Knit Picks has a big sale going on for Black Friday. So I got a whole bunch of their yarns. So this is their Muse fingering base. And I got 10 skeins of this. So I'm going to use 5 for each of my blankets. Which is the right amount. I did calculate. So I got 10 skeins of the Bear yarn, and this yarn is like half off right now. So I think it was like $8.50 US a skein, which is amazing. So I got 10 skeins of that. So I'll use half of them for my Smash Knits hibernation throw. And then for the Olive Park Yarns one, I'm going to do a Sweet Shop blanket by Laura of Penrose Knits. And I'm really excited for that. So that one doesn't need like a fade or anything like that. You can do it. It's specifically designed for fingering weight held double. So I'm going to use the Muse Bear yarn for like the natural parts of this, like the white parts of the square. And then I'll use the advent calendar for the other parts of this, the triangles. So I'll do like half white triangles, half whatever color the advent comes out with. So very excited for that. I have all my stuff ready. I just can't wait for it to be December 1st so I can start opening my advents. All right, that is my knitting and crochet haul. I do have a bunch of cross stitch haul too. So the first haul I have is from a lovely viewer who had reached out to me after my last video when I was saying I love bright needle charts and want to collect all of them. And she let me know she had 2 that she would love to sell to me. So I did purchase those from her and they came in the past week. So thank you so, so much. The first one is the Key West sampler. How cute is that? I love that so much. Just all the bright colors and the ocean waves. I love it. So that one is the Key West sampler. And the other one is the Nantucket sampler, which I think at one point I did have this chart, but I don't have it anymore. And I would love to stitch it. So super cute. Both of these are stitched over one. I probably wouldn't stitch them over one, but I think they would look really cute on either 46 count or just my regular 36 count. Yes, I did poke myself in the head with it, but you know, show must go on. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you reaching out and letting me know I could buy them from you. I also got an order from 123 Stitch because I had been enabled to get a bunch of different charts. So I was like, might as well just place one order, get them all done with. Okay, so here we go. The first one is Friends of the Heart by Plum Street Samplers. And how beautiful is that? I don't know that I'm going to stitch this one anytime soon because I'll probably wait till next fall, but I just loved the colors in that one. So good. This next one is directly enabled by Katie Strachan. She had posted about the kit that she was going to be, or sorry, was she doing a kit for it? I can't remember if she was doing a kit for it or she just was using the colors for it. Anyway, she showed it on her channel and I had immediately purchased it. So this is Chocolate Hearts. I don't know that I had seen this one before and I love the flowers and the stags in it, or the hearts, I guess. Super cute. Love that. Would be a great Valentine's piece. Really pretty. This next one was enabled by Michelle, Knotted Owl. She had texted me that she was getting this and I was like, well, I need it too. So this is One More Stitch by Little House Needleworks, and it actually comes with all of the Classic Colorworks floss you need to stitch it. So that was great. It calls for 6 Classic Colorworks and 1 DMC. So cute. I feel like most of us can relate to this. Just one more stitch and then it's like 2 a.m. and you have to work the next day. This next one, I have wanted this chart for a long time. I actually first saw this chart last year at Stitch North, and I don't remember who the name of the person who was stitching it, but she was working on this piece and it was stunning. So I was like, I need to get this. So this is the Biedermeier Sampler 1864 by GGR. And the cover photo does not do it justice. This is absolutely stunning in person. So I had to get it and it's beautiful. I'm really excited to start this one. I'm definitely going to use 46 count. It's all DMC. It's all these alphabets and flowers and it's just so, so pretty. Love that. And then when I was looking at GGR charts, I saw this one and I was like, I need this. So this is the letter S chart by GGR. And given the fact that myself, my husband, and my dog all have first initial S, it's kind of like a given that I would need to stitch this. Love it. Love it, love it. I just, yeah, can't stop staring at it. All the S's, it's so fun. All the cute little motifs. It's great. I don't know what color I would use for it. Maybe I would use the red. I don't know. We'll have to see, but it needed to be added to my stash. Okay, and then the other one I got, this one actually I think I got from Traditional Stitches. That's right, I got it from Traditional Stitches, not 123 Stitch, and that is the Pink Sparrow Sampler with Thy Needle and Thread by Brenda Gervais. And I was totally enabled. I think it was Lauren, New Hampshire Stitcher, who was working on this. I can't remember. Someone on Instagram was working on this, and I was like, I need that. Love it. Okay, and then this last chart I got is actually a book. So in talking about Bright Needle and how much I love them lately, I was reminded that there was one of their charts, Lo How a Rose, that I have wanted to stitch for forever and could never find the book. So I was like, why don't I check on Amazon? And they had the book and it was only $20. So this is the book, A Cross Stitch Christmas, Better Homes and Gardens, Celebration Stitches. And I think the year is 2001. Yes, 2001. So I found it by searching Cross Stitch Christmas 2001. And it came up, and that's what the cover looks like. It has a whole bunch of Christmas charts. I haven't really gone through it yet because I was like, I just want it for that one and the Bright Needle chart. But there are a lot of other charts in it. So this is the one that I wanted. I love this. It's so pretty. It's like, I think it's all called for Weeks Dye Works. It's actually stitched over 2, which is unusual for them. So I was very excited to get this book, and it's funny because the list price on the back is $27 US, and I got it for $20 Canadian on Amazon. So yay! That was very exciting find to find a chart that I had wanted for a while. So yeah, that is, it's like, that's all, folks. So that's what I've been working on lately and the new things I got. Hoping to work a bunch more on the current pieces that I have started. I definitely will probably have some new starts before next time because let's be real, it's me and I always have new starts. But I would love to finish both my Black Sampler and Mary Barton's work before my next video. I'll definitely finish Mary Barton's work. Black Sampler may or may not. But hoping to record again in a couple of weeks. I have signed up for the Jingle Ball, which is an online stitch retreat shopping extravaganza. So I hope to see a bunch of you there. So I am hoping to record a video either before that or during that weekend. So we'll see how much stitching I can get done between now and then. But yeah, it's turning out. One of the nice things about this time of year, although I hate how dark it gets so early, it does mean that it's a lot more time inside cozy stitching. So I have been able to get some great progress lately, which has been amazing. So yeah, just really enjoying all of my crafting lately, and it's a great stress relief from work, which is nice. All right, well, thanks so much for stopping by and watching, and thanks again for all the lovely comments on my last 2 videos. It was really fun putting together the video about all of my previous finishes, and I will definitely show more of them in the future. So that's all for now. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks so much for all of your lovely comments, and take care. Happy stitching, happy crafting, and I'll see you next time. Bye.